Yep.
What's up, YouTube? Motivation and travel coming at you with Philosophical Friday. Here with my friend James. He's in Colombia, I'm in Florida. And we are going to talk about today is why you should invest in self-improvement. Why should you improve yourself? So that's a big thing that people are doing now. There's a huge influx of personal coaches. As a matter of fact, we both know someone who is a personal coach, don't we?
Absolutely.
And so, James, with that being said, I'll let you go ahead and answer the question. Why do you feel that you should do and invest into yourself, into the self-improvement?
Yeah, well, I think that's a good question. So I think no matter what your goals are, right? Everybody wants to do something or accomplish something. And I think the more you invest in yourself, obviously you have a higher ability to achieve the things you want to achieve. But I think there's another benefit that's really important. As you invest in yourself and you work on being a better you, what often happens, man, it's like your eyes open to things that you hadn't considered before. You experience growth in places that maybe you didn't anticipate. And I think that there's a sense of fulfillment that comes from that, from that internal growth. So I think it's important. So I think a lot of people think it's important. That's why there's people making billions of dollars off that industry, right? So
It wasn't around. How long has it been around?
Gosh, I think forever, man. I mean, I think, you know what, man, I think the first book I read that was like an improve yourself type of book, right? 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I was 19, so I was 26 years ago. So
yeah, but I think there weren't now everybody everybody wants to call themselves a personal coach. That's a big thing on Clubhouse. You see these people that in my opinion don't have the receipts to be a personal coach.
yeah.
And I recently had a situation with one of these big time self-improvement guys. He has a group called the War Room, and what they do is it's everybody there is a millionaire, and they're trying to help people make money, which is a great idea. Now, the thing is, it's like $6,000 to join. And this guy, we were exchanging emails back and forth. I'm not ready to spend that kind of money, number one. Number two, if I'm going to spend that kind of money, I better have a one-on-one. I'm not like one of 50 or one of 60 and you're sharing me across. I want your undivided attention if I'm spending that in the thousands of dollars. So I didn't sign up, and his staff or he himself cussed me out because I didn't sign up for his program. So a lot of these programs are very, very steep as far as, it's not just $100 or $200. We're looking in the thousands. What would you say that's too much money to spend? What would you say about that?
I think it's about the money. I think it's about what you're getting for your money, right? And I agree that there's this trend. There's a couple of trends that are kind of coalescing, right? There's this trend about being a solopreneur and all these, it's in vogue now to like poo-poo on jobs. No one's supposed to have a job anymore. All of a sudden the job is bad. And what you're really supposed to do is start some sort of business, that doesn't have any employees. It's just you and a bunch of automated crap, right? And one of those businesses that people start, so there's like coaching programs, right? But to your point, what gives you where do you have the receipts to be able to coach anybody to do anything, first of all? So no, I mean, I think that's a separate question, man. I think it's important to vet. If you're going to look for some sort of a coach or a mentor, I think those things are great. You need to vet them. You got to vet them and make sure that you're going to somebody good. I'll give you an example. Little Tony Robbins, that dude's legit, bro. Tony Robbins is legit. He's got receipts all over the place. People pay thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for Tony Robbins, man. You go and watch people walk on coals, and and when people are done though, like, they grow and they have gotten something out of it, and they improve their lives based on what he is able to give to people. So that's not about the money, man. It's just about what you're getting for it.
I think also too, if someone who's 500 pounds or extremely obese and they're trying to talk to me about losing weight and trying to be in the best, version of myself and try to be an exercise coach, why would I, that's what I mean when I say receipts. You have to live it yourself before you can start helping other people. And if you're not congruent, I think especially women, they're gonna sense that, and they're gonna see through the BS real quick. Now you have your job is a very interesting job. Your job is full-time, you're a full-time coach. Is that correct?
Yeah, kind of. I'm a business consultant, really. I don't know if I call it a coach. I'm just a business consultant. I have some business skills that I've honed over 20 years of working. That in the W-2 world, I got paid almost $250,000 to do these things. So I got receipts, right? I was paid by legit Fortune 100 companies to do these things that I teach businesses to do. And so now my job hasn't changed. The things I talk about every day and the things that I do every day hasn't changed. It's the same that I did when I was, working for somebody else, except now I do those things working for myself.
So the comeback or the argument you would have for someone who says it's too expensive is look at the value that you're getting.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you got to get some value out of it. In fact, I do like free consults, right? Here's why. I do free consults, one, because I love talking about business. I just love it, right? It's really fun for me. But second reason is, if I can help you in your business, then that becomes really, really clear in a free consult. And I give you so much value in a free consult that you can go and improve your business with, and you can see the value right away. So that it just becomes a no-brainer to say, hey, I'd love for you to be able to continue to provide value in my business. How do we do that? And that's what the conversation looks like. So yeah, I mean, it's about getting something out of it, right? It's like if you think about it like an employee. If you were going to hire somebody to do a job, let's say you own a business and you were going to hire somebody to do a job, right? Well, you have certain expectations about what you're going to get out of that job. Otherwise, the job doesn't exist, right? So if you're not getting anything out of it, don't spend money. It's not about the money. It's about what you're getting.
So how long does your consults usually last?
I say that 30 minutes, and they always end up taking like an hour or 90 minutes.
90 minutes, that's a long time. Now let me ask you, out of the free consults that you've done, how, like, let's say you do 10, what percentage of the people actually sign up and do your service?
About 2 or 3.
So 20 to 30% close.
Yeah, and so most of them go like this. Most of them, their challenge is so simple, and what I mean by simple is it doesn't take a big long thing to fix. That in the consult, I can offer them enough that they can go and work on it, and they don't need me anymore, right? Like I just gave you a free consult. I wish you well in your business. So most of them go like that. Some of them are a little bit longer and a little bit more in depth, and it becomes really obvious that it's a good partnership to have, and that I would be very useful for them in their business. So it's one of those things that by the end of the consult, it's really, really obvious which two paths we're on. We're either going to be on a path where I've just given you some really good advice, and I hope that helps, or I would be really, really helpful for them to grow their business.
Now, let me see. That's interesting. So let me ask you, we're talking about Tony, you mentioned Tony Robbins earlier. Tony Robbins event, they're like the minimum cost is like $600-700 to spend for like 3 days. And you got to go there.
I think it's way more than that.
Yeah.
I think it's way more than that. I think it's we're in like the thousands. Like, I don't know that I've heard of one that's $600 or $700.
Well, they had one here in Miami 2 years ago. That's like he had it at a stadium at the Miami Arena, and those were the nosebleed seats. Those were the ones that were way, way far away. Those were $600-700. But they did have, the closer you got to the stage, of course, the price went up dramatically. Now I had diamond level seats, and those were like $5,000 tickets.
Right. Right.
So I think a lot of people don't have that kind of money to spend. What would you say to someone who would like to improve in themselves and think, well, that's just too much money to spend? What is?
Yeah, I think people like that have a mindset problem. They don't have a money problem.
Wow. Go elaborate on that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, people spend money on all sorts of stuff, man. Like think about it. Like, especially in the United States, right? We're such a wasteful society in the United States. So if you really wanted to, anybody, okay, almost anybody, right? If you really wanted to, and you wanted to improve, you could change your lifestyle, right? You could change the quality of your life. You could drive a less expensive car. You could live in a smaller, less expensive house. You could buy less Starbucks. You could make all sorts of life changes in order to afford the investment in yourself to make the improvements in your own life that in your head you keep telling yourself you want to make, right? The difference is that some people will take that into action and do whatever it takes, and some people won't, right? So whatever that investment is, it doesn't have to be a coach, right? That investment could be a class. That investment could be changing your job so that you have the time and energy to work on something that you want to do for your, man, let me tell you something I did. I was going through something a long time ago, and I was working with a therapist. Okay, it was you talk about an investment in myself. I spent probably $1,000 a week on therapy for 5 years, right? And one of the things my therapist told me once is you need to quit your job, right? So what he did is he had me write on a board my values and what was important to me. So I wrote those things down. And then he had me write another list of things of what I spent my time on, right? And then we compared the list. And the things I spent my time on were not my values, not at all. And he's like, well, the solution to that is you have to quit your job because that's where you're spending all of your time, right? If those are really the things that are important to you, then you need to make a change. Quit your job. And I'm like, well, what am I going to do? How am I going to afford my life? Well, don't worry about that. It's not the issue. The issue you're having isn't how you're going to afford your life, right? So, and I did it. I listened to him. He was right. And he was like, you just got to do it, not worry about what happens next, right? And believe it or not, I did it. And it was one of the best decisions I ever made. It started a chain reaction of change in my life. That was amazing and made me a completely different person. But it happened while I was investing myself by first paying for him, right? And then investing in myself by saying, I'm willing to do anything. I'm willing to quit my job and change my quality of life if I have to, and do whatever I have to do to be a better me. And then the result is that I'm a better me.
You didn't do it immediately? Did you kind of just sleep on it and kind of think, well, maybe I should just kind of, wait and think about it because you didn't have an alternate source of income at the time? Or
I did it. I mean, I didn't think long, maybe a week.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, still, you didn't do that same day that he told you.
I mean, I had to think through what I was going to do, right? Like, where am I going to look for other jobs? What do those other jobs look like? That sort of stuff. But I didn't have this long drawn out plan. I thought about it for a week, and then I did it.
What about maybe subconscious mental barriers like childhood issues that people have that are stopping them from investing into themselves, or even the subconscious barriers that you have? How do you overcome that?
Go get a therapist. Man, I tell people all the time, go get a therapist, right? Because you're right. Those things are real. They impact people. What happened when you were a kid and all those things. I'm not one of those people who brushes that off. I think that stuff's really, really important. And it really, really can hinder you from being the best you that you can be. Go get a darn therapist, though. What I don't like is when people don't do anything about it. Like, oh, woe is me. This is just who I am. Like, one of the things that drives me crazy is when people say stuff either to themselves or to outwardly to other people that, oh, that's just how I am. Yeah, screw that. I mean, that's just how you are. So you're a way that's detrimental to yourself and to others, right? That stops you from achieving more, and you're just going to accept that that's how you are. That's stupid, right? That's lazy. Don't do that. Go get a therapist and get some help with those barriers that you have, so that you can be a better person. And on the other side of that is a great life.
Yeah, I agree. What would you say? And I'm going to be the protagonist here. Well, what if they say something like, "Well, I don't have the money for a therapist." What do you say then?
And my answer is the same. You don't have a money problem. You have a mindset problem.
Mm, that's right. You all the thing is, I wish I would have invested in myself a little bit earlier, a couple more months ago, because I would be a multimillionaire right now. Because you don't what you don't know, you don't know. And there's stocks that I could have bought that have just skyrocketed, and cryptocurrency that have skyrocketed that I wish I would have gotten in, that I would have had a lot more money. And what is that lack of knowledge cost?
Ugh.
That's thousands, maybe even millions of dollars I lost because I didn't invest into getting the knowledge. And I
Yeah.
recently found a stock mo. He's a great guy. He's got his channel, and I was listening to him. I listened to some of his talks that he got. I made some money with him. I invested my money. My money's making good, but I wish that I would have found out about his stuff before. So I guess with when you look at it from the perspective of, wow, it costs a lot of money to go to these seminars. It costs a lot of money for self-improvement. It costs a lot of money. If you miss out on a lot of money, if you don't do it, you miss out. So let's go into this a little bit further. As you go into self-improvement, there's different types of programs that are one-time, online events where there's no group interaction. There's just one person talking, and you're just among one of hundreds, like Tony Robbins. And then there's other types of different programs, kind of like what you do with you're more of a mentor to your customers. And it's more of a group interaction. What would you say is the better of the two?
It depends on you. I mean, I think it's important to understand you a little bit and how you learn and what the situation is. I'll give you an example. So I'm also, I have I help with a real estate mentor program. It's not my program. I'm not the real estate investor, but my buddy is, and it's his program. And there's really three things that he tries to do for people. I won't go into detail, but essentially is he's a mentor, which means like he's there for you. He has one-on-one meetings with you. If you need something, you can call him on the phone. And that's different than like taking a class, right? You could also just like go to somebody who's going to teach you a class and give you access to materials. I think the point I'm trying to make is like know what you're getting into before you get into it, and if that's going to work for you. Some people want someone they can call. Some people just want access to information. It just really depends on what you're looking for. And that's kind of a vetting process. You got to think about what it is you're looking for, and also talk to people. If you're thinking about doing something, You know, it doesn't have to, like, there's other types too, like get a book. You know, people don't talk about books anymore. Like read a book, you know, read a book about whatever you're trying to do to grow. There's videos all over the place on YouTube. And anybody who you're thinking about being some sort of a coach or mentor for you, like, you're probably able to find videos of them talking online. You can listen to what they say. I just think, you know, that I think that's just all you got to understand what it is that you want, what you're looking for. That's all part of the process, I think.
Yeah, I think also you gotta give to give to get what you want. So like I like chess. So I'm talking to another guy for next week. So we're gonna be teaching chess to young boys that are, you know, in the juvenile justice system that have made some
Cool.
wrong decisions. And because I like analytical thinking skills and critical thinking skills, and chess is one of the greatest games on the planet. It teaches you those skills. So it helps them and it helps me, because
Sure.
what you learn and you teach what you learn to others, it spreads out. So I guess I said all that to say that if someone is watching this and maybe they don't have the money, just go out and volunteer. Go out and be of service to somebody else. And as you do that, as you take that step of giving, it's, you know, God is going to come, it's going to come back to you, and you're going to be blessed. So yeah, I think there's lots of opportunities. I think the mindset is definitely an issue, you know, that you can overcome through therapy. But then also there's different types of programs that are not as expensive, like AA, like you know, there's different types of groups that you can go to, that you can find a support structure, find supporting people that'll help you. There's churches, there's Buddhist organization, there's temples you can go to. There's a lot. The human race, the human, you know, humankind. You know, we have a lot of, you know, inherently there's the people want to help each other. You know, I mean, there's not everybody's evil. Not everybody's evil. There's hope out there for you. You got to take massive action. The burden of responsibility is on you. And I'm sure you can agree with this, that nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's going to do it for you. So anyway,
Agreed.
we'll wrap up here. And you got any final thoughts before we close?
You know, I think my final thoughts would be, you know, there's a phrase, you know, the greatest investment you can make is investment in yourself, right? I don't know where that came from or whatever, but I think it's true. I think it's a lot like, here's a really stupid analogy. It's kind of like when you're on the plane, right? And before the plane takes off, they show that video, and it says, if you're with a child and there's an emergency, you got to put the mask on yourself first and then put it on the child. And I think this is the same way. Like, before you can help the people in your life and be a good person to the people that you want to help in your life, you got to first figure out yourself. Right? It starts there. So that would be my final thought.
Well, let me ask, don't you think that's selfish?
No, I think I used to. I used to feel like that was selfish, and I learned, first of all, my therapist taught me, and even when he said it, it didn't make sense. But through the work that he had me do, I started to really understand and realize that the way that I help others is through improving myself. And the better me that I am, the better ability I have to help others.
So let me ask you this. Is it wrong to be selfish?
No, I mean, I think the context matters, but I think sometimes in life you have to be selfish. You know, you really do. I think it's, you know, one of the things my therapist used to say is, you know, James, be kind to yourself, you know, and I think that's important. Sometimes it's appropriate and the right thing to do to be selfish. Absolutely.
Or okay, very good. And I'd also say there's, you know, I don't agree. I think there's nothing wrong with being selfish. I think you have to draw the line between don't become to the point of being egotistically selfish, where you're completely just, you know, almost obnoxious, almost
Sure.
obnoxious that you think you're so great than everybody. I mean, you have to have a sense of confidence and a sense of authority if you're trying to be a business owner and you're trying to sell a product. Obviously, they want people that can speak well, that have a sense of confidence and air. But if you're crushing other people or destroying other people to accomplish your goals and being selfish, I think that's where you shouldn't do that. But great stuff. Where can people find you?
Best place to find me is everything's Let James Help. So my email is james@letjameshelp. My Instagram is @letjameshelp. My website is letjameshelp.com.
Letjameshelp.com, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching.